everyone, it's Jean from Sew It Themes, and I'm here with part 5 in my demonstration of how I put together the hybrid junk journal with a baby theme for my daughter. And so let's get started. Now we are ready to put the signatures inside of our journal. I've selected three. We have 3 places to put journal pages in or to put a signature in. And I have these 3 already done up. Now, one tip that I've done because I've made this mistake, sometimes, especially if you've been doing it for a little while and you get going, you don't always notice what direction your signatures are in, and you kind of forget the order you originally wanted to put them in your journal. It's easy on this type. Yeah, you can see that this is the right way up. But sometimes when you have a journal with just this kind of a design on it, you might go, oh, this, you might pick it up this way, and then everything will be upside down. So what I like to do is I like to go through, just make double sure that all my pages are all the right side up, and then place on here a sticky note, what number a signature is and that it is facing up. So that's what I like to do that. It just because I have sewn them in upside down before, and the first few times you do this, you won't probably need it because you'll be so aware of everything you're doing. But as you get to sewing them in over a period of time, it is just so easy to flip them around, and I don't even know how it happens. So, anyways, this is going to be our first signature, and here is where we're going to place it. Now, another thing that I like to do, and for this one, we're going to have to do it right away because we already have pages in it. We have the album pages, and I like to put bands on the cover, and you can put bands or clips. I have to use bands here because of the pages flipping up here, but a lot of times you can use like a bowl clip or something to hold down the page that you've already sewn in. So like if we didn't have these albums in here and we sewed in this first signature, then I would put it over here and hold it down with a clip or a band, and then proceed with the second signature. Actually, I usually put the third one in next and hold that down and put the middle one in last is what I usually do. But anyways, making sure they're secure is going to be helpful as you maneuver and work with it and they're not flopping around. So once we've done that, I like to use graph paper. Now, I will say right away, there's many ways to sew in a signature. This is not the definitive way. It is how I do it, and it's what's easy for me. So, you can view 2 or 3 videos on it. There's plenty of them out there to kind of get you an idea of different ways, but this is what I like to do. I cut a piece of graph paper that's the width of my spine. Now, without these pages, of course, the width of the spine would be like from here to here if you were just sewing in signatures and there was nothing else in here. But because there are these albums in here, then the signature is a very narrow area. And I cut it, the length of my journal. And this is, and evenly, it's even all the way down. I fold it in half. Now this is going to be my middle right here where the fold is, obviously. And this is where I'm going to put a dot. Now, all I have to do is count how many places this way and how many places this way I'm going to be putting the dots. I like to put in 5 holes. I feel that that is a best hold. Now, if you're doing a real small journal, like a small journal, and you don't have that many pages, 3 is probably just fine. But for this, I'm going to do the 5. I like to come down about an inch, 1, 2, 3, 4, about an inch from each of these sides, from the top and the bottom. And then I come up not all the way to the middle, which you could. For some reason, I just like to come up a little ways. So I come up 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to say 5. I'm going to come up 5 there. So I'll do the same here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you could put this in the middle between this and this if you wanted to. I don't know. I just like the way this looks. And really it's just a matter of choice. Yeah, you could definitely put this next hole in the middle here and in the middle here and do it that way. This is the way that we're going to do today. So now you know where your holes are. You've got this pattern. And then you can lay it inside here. And you will need a clip. Hold on a second. Here we go. Here is a clip. We're just going to put it in here. And let's put a clip in the bottom. Just because I'm doing this on camera. I don't usually put one in the bottom, but I'm going to now. So there's our little pattern. There is our holes. I now get an old phone book. Any book will do that you're not using anymore or that you don't, really want. But anything with, lots of thick pages in it is great. I'm going to get out my owl. No, I'm sorry, my awl. Not the bird, but the awl. And this is my little awl. Then we're going to be really brave, and we're just going to get in here. We're going to put the first hole in. I'm going to go straight down like this until you feel it go all the way through. And we're just going to do them all like that. So, yeah, this is a little scary, right? Because this is like permanently in your book that you have already assembled. All right. But I like using the graph paper. I don't know. I like it better than using a ruler and marking it onto the spine itself. I just really prefer it. Then I can transfer this same pattern. So here are our holes. I can transfer the same pattern over to our signature. And what I do is I take each page out and I align them up, so that they are pretty much, even on both the sides here. And I just, I hold on to, usually, as I stick it in here, I hold on to this section here and then just place it in there so that they're pretty tight and close in. Okay, so that's pretty good there. Now, what I do is I do like to clamp the top of one side and the bottom of the other side. This is what I like to do to kind of hold them in there. Now, you can put them in here like this. This is great. I am going, now you'll notice that these pages, of course, are going to be just a little bit smaller than the length of the book. So your graph is going to have to hang over a little bit on the bottom and on the top and bottom, so that you'll be, pretty much in the middle there. So it's just hanging off like one square, not quite a square on each side. Now I go in through here and start putting the holes in according to my graph. You can also go in and mark these. If you don't feel comfortable going in quite that blindly, you can go in here and you can mark your hole like this, on each little area. And that way you might feel more comfortable with it. You can do that. And by putting these little small pencil marks, it's not such a big deal because these pencil marks are going to be going away when you put in your thing here, your all, right? Your all in all. There we go. So the key though is that you want to use the same pattern for doing this as this in here, because if you just randomly eye this up and eye that up, your holes may not match. So now that we have all of these holes put in here, we are ready to sew it in. I have a needle. Now the needles that I use is a little doll. It's somewhat pointy, but it's not sharp. And I've used sharp needles before, and I just felt like I was just making new holes, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the way it felt when I used it. So, and it's a darning needle, so it has a pretty substantial eye in it, so you can get, you know, a thicker thread in it than just sewing thread. And this is linen. This is a linen thread. There are other threads to use, but this is the one that I use. And so let's get rid of this here. So let us begin. So I go in the middle, and oh, and the length of the thread is 3 times the length of your journal is how much thread I put in there. So the tail of the thread, I stick underneath this clip here so I don't pull it all the way through. And so I go in the middle one first. So here's the middle hole. Here's the middle of my signature. There we go. And pull it through here like that. Now I come up this hole here. Now again, this is not a set way that there's only one way to go through the holes. There's multiple ways to do that. But I go up this one here. I go up this hole here. Okay. And down this hole here. Like so. Make sure it's snug. You know, you want it pretty snug. And then come back up that hole again. That second hole, come back up. So it, you know, whatever pattern that you use to sew with, what you want to end up with is you want thread to go to be all along here and all along the back. You don't want to like come up, come down, come up, come down, come up, and just have gaps in it. You want to make sure there's thread all the way in there and thread straight down in here. See how we've already made half of it straight so far, so we want to see thread in all the holes connected together. So whatever pattern you use, that is the end results. And then I go up to the second one up here on this side. And so this part is a little trickier because you gotta find your hole. And there we go. There, it's hard to show this on camera just because I have to put different angles on it. But again, we go down and out this way. And then we're going to come in here. Actually, it's just kind of backwards from what we did with the one down there. Okay. Come up through. You know, I just put hand cream on my hands. I don't know why I did that because now everything's slippery. All right. And then we come back out here. And I just lost my thread, didn't I? I'm sorry about that. I have to rethread it. Yep. I should not have put hand cream in my hands. I can't believe that. Yeah, I won't do that next time. There we go. And as you sew, you just, keep tightening it up, giving it tugs. And then we come back up here on the last one. Sometimes you have to peek around the corner. There we go. There we are. Okay. There. Now, the other thing I like to do, if you'll notice, the thread is cradling the one that goes here. So the tail is here and the last of the threads here, so that in between you have this thread here. So it's just a matter of when you come up out of this hole, if you're on this side, then you just kind of like go over here and put it on the side you want to be. That's all you have to do if you come up on the wrong side. But I like to cradle this here in between the tail and the finishing part of the thread. Then we are going to tie. And we're going to tie it this way, and then we're going to tie it the opposite way. So you're going to make a square knot. And I make a couple of these. And we'll make one more here. Okay, so that's a pretty good knot there. Now at this point, you definitely can snip it off and you're perfectly fine. Or if you want to, you can just put down, you leave these here, and then you can put on little ornaments of some sort, little paper punch out things to kind of make it cute if you want to. But you can very well just snip it off. So there's our first signature, all sewn in our book. Yay! So now all you got to do is do the rest of them. And then, of course, like I said about the bands, when you go here into this one, then you'll want to keep this part down here. Oops, I got to put this one over here too. So you want to keep the sides down so that when you start working with your book, like we were doing, flipping it around, looking for the holes, it's not like totally everything, all the pages are in your way. So this would be our next signature that we put in here. And that is how I sew them in. I'm going to wrap this up now, and I really appreciate you watching throughout this demonstration or tutorial. And I hope that this inspires you to maybe give it a try for yourself. And the next part that's coming up, part 6, will be the flip through and any last thoughts and adjustments that I made on the journal. So please subscribe below if you haven't already, and I so appreciate you watching and commenting below. And if you've liked these videos, then please click the thumbs up. And so we'll see you again next time. Have a crafty day. Bye.